Before the door opens, before the truth is revealed, ask yourself this: how many times have we walked past someone who needed us, thinking our small help would never matter? Stay with this story till the very end, because what happens next will change the way you look at kindness forever. And if stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Kindly Tube, because your support helps us share more real, meaningful stories like this one. Every morning at exactly 6:30, the city woke up in a rush. Buses roared, horns screamed, and people hurried past each other with tired eyes and heavier worries. In a quiet corner near an old, broken park bench sat an old man no one seemed to notice anymore. His clothes were clean but worn thin by time, his shoes cracked at the edges, and his posture carried the weight of years no one asked about. He never begged. He never shouted. He simply sat there, watching the world move without him. And every morning, just before the sun climbed too high, a young girl named Aisha stopped in front of him. Aisha was only 15. Her school bag was patched, her uniform carefully ironed by her mother late at night after long hours of work. Her mother was a maid, cleaning other people's homes, washing other people's dishes, and scrubbing floors that were never hers. Life had taught Aisha early that nothing came easy. But it had also taught her something else: when you have very little, kindness is still something you can afford. She would smile at the old man and say softly, "Cha-cha, I brought you breakfast." Sometimes it was a piece of bread with tea in a small plastic cup. Other days, it was leftover rice wrapped carefully in newspaper. The old man always accepted it with trembling hands and eyes that quietly filled with tears. At first, he asked her not to bother. He told her to save the food for herself. But Aisha shook her head every time. "Miami says food tastes better when you share it," she replied. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. The city changed seasons, but one thing stayed the same: Aisha stopping by every single day. If she was late for school, she still stopped. If it rained, she still came, holding an umbrella over the old man before herself. If she had nothing to give, she sat beside him and listened. And the old man talked. He told her stories about discipline, about waking up before sunrise, about loyalty, duty, and honor. He spoke of brothers who were not born by blood but chosen by courage. Aisha didn't understand everything, but she loved listening. There was something strong hidden behind his tired voice, something broken yet unbowed. People noticed them, but not kindly. Some whispered that the old man was probably a fraud. Others laughed at Aisha for wasting her time. "You're poor yourself," one woman once snapped. "Why help someone who can't help you back?" Aisha lowered her eyes but didn't stop. One afternoon, things changed. Aisha arrived with her usual small packet of food and found the old man struggling to breathe. His hands clutched his chest, his face pale, his breath shallow and painful. Panic rushed through her. She dropped her school bag and held his hand, calling for help, but people passed by, glancing once, then walking away. With shaking fingers, she dialed the emergency number she had memorized from school. She stayed with him until the ambulance arrived, refusing to let go of his hand even when the paramedics tried to move him. At the hospital, they tried to stop her at the gate. "Family only," the guard said. "I am his family," she replied, her voice small but firm. Something in her eyes made the guard pause. He let her in. Hours passed. Aisha missed school. She missed her mother's worried calls. She sat outside the emergency room praying silently, promising God she would never ask for anything again if the old man survived. Late in the evening, a doctor came out and said the words she had been waiting for: "He's stable." Relief crashed over her like rain after a long drought. The next morning, Aisha returned to the hospital before school. She brought tea in a small flask and bread wrapped carefully, just like always. The old man smiled weakly when he saw her. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "You have a life to live." "So do you," she answered. 3 days later, something extraordinary happened. Aisha was sitting beside the old man's bed when suddenly the hospital corridor fell silent. Footsteps echoed, strong, synchronized footsteps. She looked up and saw something she had never seen before. A tall man in a perfectly pressed uniform walked in first. Medals lined his chest. Behind him followed 5 military officers, all standing straight, eyes sharp, faces serious. Nurses froze. Doctors stepped aside. The air itself felt different. The man stopped at the doorway and stared at the old man on the bed. Then, to everyone's shock, he saluted. The officers behind him saluted too. Aisha stood up, confused and frightened. She thought maybe they were here to take the old man away. She stepped protectively in front of him without thinking. The general lowered his salute and looked at Aisha. His voice softened. "Who are you, Beta?" I'm Aisha," she replied. "I bring him food." The general's eyes filled with emotion. He turned back to the old man. "Sir," he said, his voice breaking, "we've been looking for you for years." The truth spilled out like a long-hidden story finally allowed to breathe. The old man was once a highly respected military commander. A legend among his men. After a classified mission went wrong decades ago, he disappeared, choosing a life of silence over recognition, burdened by losses he never forgave himself for. He had walked away from everything, even from the army that loved him. But they never forgot him. The general explained how his name was still taught in training academies, how his strategies saved countless lives, how soldiers still spoke of him with reverence. "You taught us what honor truly means," the general said. The old man turned his face away, tears rolling down. "And yet," he whispered, "it was this child who remembered me as a human being." The room went silent. The general approached Aisha and gently placed his hand on her head. "Do you know what you've done?" he asked. She shook her head. "You reminded a hero who he was," he said. "And you reminded us what service really looks like." What followed changed Aisha's life forever. The army arranged for the old man's full treatment, a comfortable home, and lifelong care. But that wasn't all. The general visited Aisha's house personally. He saw her mother's tired hands, her small home, her sacrifices. Aisha received a full scholarship education, books, uniform, everything. Her mother cried the day they told her. "We only taught her to be kind," she said. "We didn't expect this." The general smiled. Kindness is the highest form of courage. Years later, Aisha stood on a stage, accepting an award for social service. In the front row sat her mother, smiling proudly. And beside her, in a neatly pressed suit, sat the old man, stronger now, eyes bright, saluting her with a smile full of gratitude. Aisha took the microphone and said softly, "I didn't help him because he was important. I helped him because he was alone." And that is the lesson. You never know who someone is. You never know what battles they've fought. But kindness doesn't need a reason, and it never goes unrewarded. If this story touched your heart, please like the video and subscribe to Kindly Tube. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can echo louder than power, wealth, or rank. Because sometimes, helping an old man every day can change destinies, yours included.